again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I tell you what, man, my excitement grew as it got closer to get started, and I am grateful for all of you who are here. Austin Murphy, man. You caught my attention already. Greetings and blessings, US Ape, Swinton's Birds, Crystal Shaman, Insane Wheels. God bless to all of you, Andy, and even Snafu Crew, baby, and that which is. So many of you are here, so thank you. It's appreciated, right? Heartfelt gratitude. I'm filled with inspirations and ideas again today. I'm just so excited to get started for real. My life was never like this in the past. So if you're here with me now, thank you. Whether now or later, thank you. Let's just settle in together and enjoy our time together and see what our Father, our Heavenly Father, right? And the divine forces of life and nature. Let's see together what today will reveal and show to us. Isn't that exciting? If you can look at life like that, you can. You can look at life like that, like it's just a miraculous unfolding that you never know what's going to happen. It's kind of exciting when you realize, in the end, the only thing that matters is love. Once you realize that, it's game's over. Amen, Christos. We will free this country from occupation, Israeli and or otherwise. But first, we got to look at our occupation, right? The reality is, as a white dude like me, I'm sitting on stolen land, probably. All the treaties of the American nation made with the indigenous. Every treaty, as far as I can tell, and as from what I've heard, every one of them was broken in many ways. Just a bunch of excuses and bureaucracy, held everything together. But hey, man, Andy, there you go. Praise God. All land is stolen land. It's borrowed, right? Oh, that reminds me. Let me get to today's things, right? Here in the background, well, the topic today, choosing love over anything, is the topic, because the reality is love reveals heaven. I spend time in heaven, with love, with God, right? It's all the same thing. Heaven, love, God. Where are you? Do you feel separate from those things? No way for me to get there. Someone like me? Maybe. You never know. You might be on your path to heaven. It's found through love. So the thumbnail and the idea today is choose love today, right? This is in the description and it's posted, right? If you think about it, it's just pointing out the obvious. Today has been given with love. Today has been given with love. So receive the life that love brings. That's the game, man. I kind of think I figured this out. Blessings and thank you. Much love to you, my friend. I did not end up registering. I didn't make it. But please enjoy and we'll catch up soon. Hey, actually, whoops. Sitting on treaty land. See, I'm not sure where the land I'm at right now is, admittedly, here in Baltimore. I'm not sure the history so well, but I know in Spokane, uh, it was never negotiated away. It was just taken. We like just pushed out people and said, "Yeah, this sounds like a good place to build a city. We're going to live here now." I guess that's what happened. And then, a while later, I found my way there. Oh, hey, love the love, hate the hate. Let the hate go. Focus on the love. That's the key, man. Let the hate be with the hate and let the love be with you. I like that one a little bit better. Hey, seriously, Austin, if you are here, Trexty, it was you. I got a text from Snapper already. Oh, God bless. How funny. This life is just incredible, and it's a bonus. Oh, doggone it. I thought I did this. I'm going to drop the link here, and especially for Austin Murphy, if you're still down there, I'd love to discuss some of your earlier comments, please. Snap. Oh, man, wrong link. Wrong link. Doggone it. Well, for those who are interested, the link I dropped, it's with Amazon. I don't promote Amazon, but it's information on the book I talked about yesterday. It inspired me early in my path. Sorry. See, this is one thing that shows that I may not be the best at a professional streamer and such, because my mind is limited by what I can do. Hey, blessings for the raid. People, blessings. Where was I going? Oh, I was going to drop the link. Austin Murphy, if you are down there, please do click the link and join. I trust you. I believe you. I appreciate that, Snow. Thank you. You're ahead of the game. And Austin, if you're down there, please, I would love to have conversations with you about some of your earlier comments. And I just saw the notification. So sincerely, to ThorpeTube and Grace and all, thank you. Thank you to all who may find your way over here, who may join. Thank you very much for the raid. Austin, thank you for joining. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Jack. I'm a little busy right now, so I can't really stay for long. I'm taking care of dogs, and we have to go to the dog park. And then I have to go to an AA meeting like an hour away, so busy.
Busy, but it sounds like a beautiful time.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So you've got so much doubt within you towards me. And I'm wondering, how do I get around this, man? What's going on?
You fucked up in the first place, Jack.
How about this?
I didn't turn my back on you. You turned your back on me, right? You allowed Paul to take my wrench for no reason to play power games because he's a narcissist. And then
Well,
you
Austin,
didn't say anything about it. You just stood by his side.
actually, I explained. I told you why.
It was said I had an attitude, but the attitude only came after the wrench was taken, not before.
No. You had the,
yes.
Austin, you had the attitude towards Paul, and at that time, Paul and I had an agreement. We were working together. So you're disrespecting him. You're disrespecting me.
And what happened? What ended up happening in the end? Where's Paul now?
Where are you right now?
I'm right here with you, brother. Where's Paul now? He doesn't have the keys anymore, so what good was it worth?
Well,
Come on,
that's
Jack.
not your concern, to be honest. What is your concern is your attitude towards me. Because you're missing out, brother. You're really missing out.
I've been here for 5 years. I haven't missed out on anything.
Austin, come on, dude. Don't play that.
All right, Jack. Well, I'm gonna leave you alone. Enjoy your stream.
Hey, God bless you. Have fun with the dogs. Seriously,
All
you
right.
got a beautiful pup. Enjoy the time at the park. And then, you know what? Fucking relax. Enjoy the meeting. See what connections can be shared. God bless you, brother. I appreciate you swinging through.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Thank you. And you and others are welcome to reach out to me offline as well. This question I did want to get to. I have actually offered plans. I've offered solutions quite a bit. It's kind of simple and obvious, and maybe that's it. Simple minds can grasp simple things, right? So there should be very few who don't understand what I'm saying, but it seems pretty obvious to me that secrets and lies create confusion and enemies, right? And the reality is every battle, every conflict, right? Every war, what's at its core? What's at its source? An agreement to disagree, right? Two sides choose to disagree, and then they give themselves the excuse to do horrible, horrible things at each other, to each other. It's the world we were given, but it doesn't mean we have to stay this way. Okay? We don't have to live at war with reality. We don't have to live at war with each other. The path is truly choosing love over anything. Snafu, I see you in the back, man. I don't think I'm going to bring you up. Well, what is it you're showing? Tell you what, I am going to bring you up. I don't know what you're showing, though. I'm not sure. Hey, blessings to you, my friend. I've not done them. What are you talking about? Here, I'm not. If I miss something in chat, please feel free to repeat. I'm not worried about people spamming, but Snafu, what are you doing?
Happy belated 420, Jack. I'm loading one up. I call this the cotted strain. Just pulled it out of the jars. I'm naming it the cotted.
It's a fascinating time. I mean, here in America, it wasn't that long ago, no matter where you went, that was a crime. And the sad thing is, as I understand it, we still have people sitting in cages because of possession of plants and a flower.
I got news stuff to bring to you if you want, and then I'll just sit back since Trek. Because I came in a good mood. Your mod Trexie was the one being a little woo-ha in her little fillers. So you hear about Trump trying to get the nuclear codes, and then the guy getting fired who runs our or one of the head nuclear people in the United States, generals. There's a lot of shit going on in DC of who should be calling the shots right now, and people aren't paying attention how big it is. I don't know if you caught that today.
I missed some, and I missed you. I went back and timed you out.
We're in chat. I know.
If
I was just giving you ideas to stop wars.
I know. Please remind me what happened today recently because I did not watch any.
Trump was trying to get the nuclear codes, and the military said no. The generals and stuff, and so now there's a big infight between yeah. So now there's a big infight because again, like you said, certain people are standing up saying no, then certain people are saying yeah, and then it's a clusterfuck of But that's how crazy
here.
it's getting. They're literally fighting and putting it in the mainstream media like
Please.
that they're fighting over nuclear codes, whether it's, puppeteer or not, which means I feel events on the horizon. I yield.
Hey, I agree, but I've not lost hope, okay? Because we are the answer. Sorry, Lalo, you distracted me. I'm not sure what question you're talking about. You made the claim that. Let me get back to this, Era, because this is in line with where the conversation was with Snafu. Jack, I'm having such a disappointing day. We need more people that subscribe to truth telling. Amen. See, when all of us find a love for truth, we will unite together and we will end this insanity of the brink of disaster. We are mankind, because of idiocy and self-sabotage, selfishness and cruelty. It's literal insanity, guys. But you know what? I think I'm a wild card. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I'm one of many wild cards that have emerged in this society at this time. But you know what? I'm like everyone else as I'm speaking these words. You, whoever you are, you too, Snafu, you're definitely a wild card. Totally.
I bring solutions and plans to the table. I've told you anytime you want, live or behind the scenes, let's call the United Nations. Oh, because I grow, Red. Growing. You don't have to buy if you grow.
Nice job. It looks beautiful, man.
I showed you my pictures of my tents before, though.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm willing to call the United Nations or set up meetings in towns across the United States or foreign too. I'm willing to do this live with you and actually be here to help get you versus just talking. Now, we could talk all day long. When you're ready, you let me know and we could do it. I yield.
I'd love to do an idea of what you're suggesting, but I'd love to do it my way, to be honest, not your way.
But okay, may I say something without you getting eyebrows furrowed and you're already doing your little fucking thing? I'm trying to work with you.
Hey,
your way is 5 years later, as Austin Murphy has pointed out, and we're still here. My way is literally calling the United Nations live and finding meetings that would fit to what you are wanting to do, and then literally live, doing the phone work, doing the work. And the reason I say live is because content, we could do it private too, but it also to show like real talk, and I'm willing to do that for and with you.
Mm-hmm. I'd prefer not to worry about it as content.
Okay, we don't have to as content. Either way, as I said, I'm willing to do it when you're ready. But your way, your way is no way. Like, not to be mean.
That's not true, dude.
Okay, well, prove me then. Maybe this week you'll prove me wrong, and we could maybe do it your way.
Well, here's the reality. I think the best way is if we just agree that it's worthy of getting done. And if it's worthy of getting done, we can work together to find our way. What's the best?
We got to fuck with people like Lalo and those who have connections and squeeze their connections out. So we'll make Lalo help you.
No. Oh, I love where you're going, but let's try a different direction. We don't want to try and make anyone do anything, dude.
We will offer them the choice to receive what they get.
What's that?
They receive what they get, right? So if they help you.
The thing is rather than making someone, just help them to understand why they might want to help you. And Lalo, I think I can show you.
I bet you if we'd gotten the phones for like a week straight, there's a few meetings or groups or things that you could probably insert yourself in, so to speak, to get involved in. Like, did you just move to certain areas of Because even me, I say none of this is going to work, but I'm still willing to help you prove to everyone it's not going to work.
Well, let's.
And it's not you. It's not you, Jack.
Yeah. But it is. It's mindset is the key, and that's what I wanted to get across to you. And you just reminded me, dude. Seriously, I've got a couple of guests scheduled. One coming up tomorrow and another next week, and these are both men that I have a lot of respect for.
Philosophy types.
What's that?
I know who you have coming. The philosophy type guys. I know who you have coming.
You don't know nothing.
I
man.
sure do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I did. You told me
What
yesterday. Oh, now that smile changed because now you're. Yeah, remember? You told me you were having. You told me what they're into too, like what type of subject, and I told you. I said,
"Oh yeah."
And
yeah. Okay, philosophy is an interesting way of describing what I said.
Okay, maybe that's not the word. That's not the word to. Okay, but yes, I'm looking forward to your guess. I'm the first one that told you to reach out and start getting your whether it goes good, bad, content shit, content great, whatever. Just start reaching out and doing things. That's a step, such as interviews.
I'm assuming this is for me. What does "it's gonna work out" mean to you? I actually believe, well,
Mr. Red is correct.
all I know is God. God is the beginning, the end. The answer to know God is love. It's with love that God has offered us today. Now, each of us faces today on our own, in our own unique way, because that's just how God ordained it, right? Offers it. So life on this planet would be so much easier. It will be, not would be, it will be so much easier here on Earth when people stop fighting people. I started down this path.
Wait. People stop fighting people. Your dream is coming true. Isn't a bunch of robo police dogs and robots and drones being used for the fighting now? Drone warfare. People aren't fighting people. Robots are fighting people.
People are dying.
That's true.
A lot of people are dying. And
so can I ask you an honest question then, Jack? All the jokes aside, is it just like the activism of just wanting to share the message of love versus all the bad karmatic shit, or are you still wanting to truly try and make waves and big, like, I don't want to say delusional in this case, but big waves of things that haven't shown?
Please, I'm sorry to interrupt. My mind is kind of putting things together. We've got a guest in the back who's been in the back for quite a while. One of the first who joined when I dropped the link. It's not someone I recognize though, and that's why they've been in the back for a while. So I don't mean any disrespect.
I heard we might have a mother goose. Tommy is going back to bird
later. God, welcome.
Thank you.
Say something else.
You're welcome.
Not you, dummy. That's a voice I recognize, isn't it? I think it is.
Yes, it is.
All right. I didn't recognize the authentication or the other. So, okay, where were we at in conversation? What's up?
Pick it up.
We have this opportunity, really, guys, seriously. All of the evidence in the news, it's up to us to do something. God has sent us into the world to do whatever we want to do, but the world
That
wants
is
us
true.
to be small. Thank you. Sorry to keep going, but thank you. The world wants us to think small. Why? Because it creates profits for the owning class, right? The billionaire class. Let's just call it the Epstein class, because we know what that means. A bunch of predators and manipulators and liars and abusers. How about that?
God's monsters.
Yes, there are demons being lived in human form, right?
Demons don't exist.
Evil does. And actually, well, I won't say the demons don't exist because I've heard a few testimonies
Do you
that
believe? Do you believe in Jesus or God?
I believe in God. Yeah. And
So you
I'm
don't
Jesus.
right
believe.
here.
So you don't. So you don't believe in Jesus, but you
And,
believe in a God. Okay.
and Jesus. Yes.
Well, now you say, because many of the again, without Jesus for many. But then again, I get the whole tarnished and man-made religion, just like the Egyptian sun worship, and then so like I get it. There's a lot of deception in there, but I mean, at this point, if you can't understand that demons are most likely real, the elites talk about them, the good people talk about bad people. Like, I mean, you believe in angels, you better believe in demons. Is all I'm saying.
Demons are imaginary, just like fairies and gnomes. They don't exist, but people think they do.
Hey, just be grateful you've not experienced them.
You've experienced a fairy?
No,
Oh,
no. But like I said, I'm convinced this world we live in, the physical is not the end. Okay, this realm, it is not a universe as much as it is a realm. We're in a realm of time. It's all mind. The it is the universe that creates you, and you that possesses a mind, or a mind that possesses you, that's created by the universe. But within your mind, the entire world, everything outside of you, it's just projected, it's identified and labeled, and all sorts of meaning is overlaid into everything you see.
we need Jack Talcott fortune cookies with all these fucking sayings you always tell us. Merchandise on the mind.
I know, I'm telling you, there's a lot to market with me. I don't know why I'm so damn poor.
I could tell you want it your way, and you gotta let go and let some people, the right people, do it both your and the way.
Well, I've been learning truly how to trust in God, and that's been frightening for me. It's taken me a while. Not this one. Hey, I
Trust
just
me.
got to,
Trust me,
yeah.
bro.
Hey, I just saw the notification. Blessings to the Ruby Raiders as well. God,
Oh, you
jeez.
do know the drama going on with Ruby, right?
I know there's drama. I
She's
don't know the
most likely, yeah.
It's all of us. Here's something I was reminded of, guys. I mean, when we are on these live panels, this what I do, this chats with Jack, the open panel stuff, in a way, it is a show, right? Because this shit is real life drama. You get all sorts of characters flowing through these panels, man. And you know what? You might not have done so. please do the subscribe and like and all that good stuff, man.
I honestly gotta say, everything Austin said was exactly what you did to me. So Austin, word for word, him taking the wrench, doing what he did for Paul, like, so don't feel alone, Austin. That's all I'm
Okay,
telling.
both of you recognize my choice to do so was directly related to your behavior, how
But
you were treating not just me, but Paul as well.
but Paul came in triggered because
I
people like
know.
him and me
I know.
we had no intentions of any of that shit, and then he kind of played you into that game, and then you took. That's why he's upset. And it's
No,
funny because
here.
listening to Austin is pretty much what I told you too, word for word. I said it has nothing to do with Reg, not religious. But I'm just telling Austin he's
Hey,
not alone.
yeah. And we see thanks snaps, Austin said in the chat.
Yeah.
Drive safe, travel
Do
safe,
you
brother.
want to? Are you down to do that, Jack?
To do which?
Get you in some meetings. Call the
Right.
United Nations. Call some state. Or is that not what you're trying to do? Are you not trying to do talkings or events? Are you? I'm trying to figure out like what you're trying to do.
Trying to find the right direction and the right support and the right path. So far, I've been striking out. But actually, no. Snafu, what I've been learning how to do is what I've been learning and doing. What I've been doing is learning how to have greater faith, how to have greater trust, and how to really, really just be with love, choosing love over anything. That is the stream title today, choosing love over anything. Well, what what's that? Oh, I don't think he's talking to me. God, are you there?
I'm always there.
What are your thoughts?
Nothing much.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Where I was going. This chats with Jack, these open panels, in a way they are a show, but this is like reality TV. It's drama, comedy, it's all things in one. However, at the exact same time, this is real life. This is real life people living themselves openly, publicly, right? Not everyone is fully honest about who they are and authentic, but not everyone knows that they're not being honest. I mean, everyone I've met, we all have a blind spot in our awareness, you know. Here, I don't know what the context is, but each of us, we get a little over dramatized sometimes, right? A little bit, but it's still real, right? Life is real. It's real to us as long as we're here. So as long as we're here, let's live life like it matters. I mean, not that we're afraid of losing it or something, but oh, here's a thought I had earlier too, and it's in line. Choosing love over anything. How do you know? How do you know what is love if you don't bring your awareness to it? What I'm talking about today, handle your business, is choosing love, right? Finding love. Ooh, I love that. What does it mean to be fully honest? What comes to mind is free. When you are fully honest, you have confessed your sins, you've done and said the things that remove your guilt, your shame.
I'm not trying to eyebrow furrow you. This is where you and I have issues because I say that you're not honest. Tommy says you're not honest. Many say you're not honest. Then you come back and say we're not honest. So how do you get to who's honest, Jack? Because if your perception of honesty is telling us we're not honest, and then we're sitting here saying no, you're not honest. Like who's okay? It's like the freedom of speech thing. I've heard it before. Like some senator guy said, I would even say, I have to say, even hate speech should be protected because all speech, like the speech itself can't cause injury, harm, or anything. But what it could lead to, yeah. But the actual speech itself, that's why the forefathers said free speech. Because when you start giving someone that I guess legway of being the arbiter, that's a slippery slope. So who, in your opinion, is the arbiter of the truth, Jack?
That's exactly what I've been trying to get others to consider, because it's not just opinions of others.
Okay,
It's
so who
not
is it?
Well,
If it's not you and not me, like say I'm like, you're a liar, Jack. You're like, no, you're a liar. Then who do we go to find out? Like, and it's not even just with us. Like when you have your issue with Tommy or anyone.
the answer is simple. You go to the facts. You go to the facts.
Okay, but your facts are not the same facts as ours, and our facts are not the same facts as yours. Because if we're going to be at and this goes with the war thing, right? Like if you were to go tell a small country, let's stop war, but
please pause, because you're absolutely right. It goes to the bigger picture as well. What's going on with you and me it's just like these the nation states. Okay, wars and conflicts, what do they represent? They represent disagreements. Okay?
money, Jack.
No.
Remember, we have wars actually aid countries who can't get medicines and stuff, because if they weren't in those war zone areas, they would never even get that help. Right.
Beyond the money, wars, the excuses is disagreements, right? It's a disagreement on interpretations of rules, interpretations of boundaries, interpretations of whatever. It's disagreements. Okay. Now, why do we have to enable disagreements with war when we can resolve disagreements through communication? And that's what I want to do with you.
Simply use your YouTube channel as a perfect example. Then why don't you do that? How come you're still at war with all of us constantly, or new people, old people? Like, why can't you show it through your channel exactly what you're saying?
We have the chance to do it here and now in this very moment, brother. Because I want to bring it back to you. We've had our disagreements, right? We've had whatever exchanges. And you said it yourself. I think we may be looking at different facts, or maybe the same facts, but in different ways. But
under different perceptions or perceptions.
Sure. Yeah. But if we talk together and we agree, what facts are we going to consider? Which facts are we going to ignore? Right? Some are just ways.
You're a snake from Rasta Man. #Truthio. By the way, Rasta, good job. No, look, Jack, I'm saying when you make, okay, for instance, when I'm trying to tell you wars make money for other countries who would never in their life receive food, medicines, baby formula, you name it, right? And the only reason they get this type of help is because they're listed in war zone torn areas, right? So my question to you, Jack, is what if they're people who are like, cool, like we don't want to stop this because it's financially beneficial. It's not even about the conflict, as you said. And that's what many people have approached you, Jack, saying, how can you, the one man, change thoughts of billions and billions of dollars, people who are invested in these, quote, wars, or, and that's where I wonder if your confusion is, like, you don't understand the business side of it. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I fully do. I do fully understand the business side of it. As a matter of fact, I believe I can say with confidence that I understand economics and the banking system better than many of our politicians. I can assure you.
Okay, why do you say that? And give us examples why can you? I'm not trying to get you at a got you here. I'm literally like we're working here. Actually, we're cooking. Tell me what you can do better or knowledge wise financial. Like, give us an example of if you're in that room. What if they were like, say, okay, show us then? What would you say legitly, like financial, to fix that then? Like, if they're like, well, come up with a solution then.
Well, the number one focus for any conversation is going to be to create reconciliation and resolution. We need to end the disagreements and the conflicts. Nonviolent communication, I had never discovered it, but for those who haven't yet, I encourage you, or I invite you, look it up. Nonviolent communication by Dr. Rosenberg, I think is his name. It's been a long time.
Rosenberg.
Yeah.
Rosen.
That method, they teach it. It's been used in peace negotiations. It really is the method of communication. And this is what I mean. Why do I think I can do it? Because God has allowed me to learn a lot of different things. And I feel like my education is pretty well rounded.
So I'm asking you to give us a perfect example financially. If they were to say, well, Jack Talcott, the wars provide financial to these countries, and if we pull out, they'll never receive that financial again. And you say, no, we'll just do it. Where's the money coming from? How are we going to put? Like, these are like legit things they're going to say. If you want us to quit our corruption, you're going to have to still fill our pockets. Like, do you not understand that?
Well, I understand what war costs. I mean, we need to, no amount of money is worth the genocide that's happening today. Okay. No amount of money is worth the sacrifice and the misery that's being instilled upon so many human lives right now. Wars can end. And so what I want to show these people and invite these people to consider is that just like you and me, this is our lifetime to change this world. Now,
we
Donald Trump,
we should do a GoFundMe and get you to North Korea or get you to fucking China. Like, we should really do a GoFundMe for Jack.
Why are you so unwilling to support my efforts?
I'm trying to be real. Okay, there is a thing called realism, and then there's a thing called dreaming. Yeah, and I'm trying to tell you realistically, when you say that you're more knowledgeable than half of these people when it comes to financial, I'm trying to ask you to give us an example.
All right, you're focused on the economic part. Okay.
Yes, so give us an example.
Oh, dude, on a personal level, let's you and me have a conversation about money sometime, okay?
Okay. If it's not, I'm just trying to say when you make these grandiose claims, and I'm not saying, oh, he's wrong, he's right. I just would like to, I would put myself in their shoes.
I appreciate it.
Then please share with us. And that's what I'm trying to get from you, is to share with us some of these ideas that you're talking about versus being vague or general about it.
I appreciate you asking for the clarification. In my memory, I've explained all this and answered it all before, but here, you're right. For those who aren't aware, what am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is leveling the playing field, so to say, for everyone. I'm actually, you know what? Here, I'm gonna get on the speed. Let me do it like, flip it like this. Because I want to get on the platform as a candidate. I want support. I want anyone's support, your support, my support. Here, go like this. No. My hope and my prayer is to be a voice for the working class and for the people of the world in front of the executive and legislative branches of the United States of America here in Washington, D.C. Just outside of there, I can be there very quickly and easily if I can get invited or scheduled, and it could even be done like this. We could have a phone call or a video conference. But the idea is, Andy, bless you. Thank you for the contribution. Thank you very much for the contribution. my thought, my hope is to be, I believe my experience in my life has prepared me for this purpose. I've envisioned it. I've dreamed it. I'm pursuing it. I've invested a lot for this purpose. The idea of being a voice of reason for peace, for the working class, for righteousness, for justice, for freedom, right? What I want to speak to Donald Trump and the men and women of the United States Congress about is reality, right? Let's join together with that which is real. And that which is real is we can do a lot more than just keep funding wars, right? We can bring peace to the world. It's simple as we make an agreement to stop the wars, right? We agree, okay, we're going to pause the conflicts and get back to just having disagreements, right? So we'll order the militaries to stand down, take a break, hydrate, get some nourishment, right? Recharge. You guys be okay. We're going to get people involved and keep providing for those people who are in need. And we're going to do a better job without the damn wars involved, right? The activity of war. Maybe we can get some need to these people who need food right now. So we move from active war and conflict into just peaceful, intentional, peace-filled disagreements. And then we agree, okay, we've got disagreements, but as adults, we can communicate and we can find where do we connect. And I bet with support, right? Outside support, oversight, and encouragement, I bet we could convince some of these selfish people to become more generous. We could convince some of the cruel people to back off and maybe be more kind. I don't know. I just think this is a good idea. Don't you?
I just don't think it's realistic.
Does that matter?
When realism matters, yeah.
Well, you know, if a fireman comes up to a building and it's already on fire, and does he just say, it's not realistic to run in and, you know, do what it takes to try and save a life? No. Even though it might look challenging or dangerous or tough, if it's worth getting done, you fucking do it. And I think it's worth ending wars. So let's do it.
Okay, so that brings us back to the question we were fucking at the beginning. How do we do it, Jack? How is Jack Talcott going to be able to do what no one in history has done before? Or could? And again, the ceasefire optics, look at how that's working out. Because at this point, it looks like the actual military is probably the ones running the show now versus the politicians, with the whole Iran thing. Again, you're going to get a lot of pushback, right? And so that's why I'm asking you, then how do we do what you say we need to do, Jack? How?
Let me come back to this. I know you won't forget to ask me. DeFreak, is DeFreak the one that's the Quran a lot?
No, he's he's way into the Bible and stuff, and he's not the.
There's someone who identifies as a Christian, but they quote the Quran a lot. That's why I thought maybe it was.
Yeah, that is DeFreak. That is, yeah.
Okay.
shows.
Well, yeah. Well, I saw a very interesting. If you're available, DeFree, please feel free, link up. But um, okay, I saw a very fascinating Instagram clip. I could probably pull it up and we could see it, I'm sure. But presenting that predictions in the Quran are like happening. Okay, that the prophecies are actively right now being fulfilled. Okay, so the next step is what? Heaven on earth. Once we get there, right? And I believe we are there. I believe it's ready. It's just like, oh, it's ready to burst, and the new world is ready to birth into life, because life is why we're here, brothers and sisters. Ooh, baby, I love being me, because today choosing love over anything is the topic. And let's remind ourselves today has been given with love, so receive the life that love brings. We all know the difference of feeling, that day, the day you spend in your day when you're filled with love and, nothing's wrong, everything's good. I'm filled with love and hope and joy and gratitude and appreciation. Just powerful, right? And then if you're absent from love, dude, oh, seems there's no end in sight.
What was that? The Jack Talcott Santa laugh? What
The
the
what?
fuck?
The
That
what?
sounded like a Santa laugh. You're like, oh, like it was weird. Um, look, Jack. I'm not. I just want to know, when you make these claims, can you give us examples? Like, what would you do? Like, versus being generic. Like, versus say, we need to. This is what we got to do. Well, if you're not going to do it, can you tell us what? And again, you're reading your chats, you're distracted versus having real authentic conversation about the claims you make.
Please calm down, man. I'm
I'm
trying to
calm.
find that one I saw
And
earlier.
the whole and if you got to be real, I watched a video the other day, and I should share it with you. It basically, the Christian Antichrist is the Muslim one that comes, so to speak. Like, I believe I do believe there's an intertwingle, so to speak, of all these religions mixed together
Hold
with
on,
deception on them.
come on. Oh, is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Here, I'm going to play this and I'll share the link for this guy. I don't know. We live in this day where there's so much out there. So much out there. We've got to work together. We really do. When is the end of the world? I'm asking for a friend. The end is now, as is the beginning, as it always was and will eternally be, until such time as God says no more. But the end and the beginning are one. It's the way time works. And we're just like this tiny little aspect of time and the universe.
What's the Ayatollah?
How what?
What's the Ayatollah?
I don't know what that means.
Oh no, I'm hearing they took Ayatollah hostage just now. Breaking
The
news.
Ayatollah? The Ayatollah?
Yeah. What is that?
That I would assume is the Iranian leader.
There's news that they've taken him hostage coming.
Snow, yeah.
There you go, Jack.
June 14th. That's Donald Trump's birthday, I think.
Take him on a date, Snow. Go on a date with Snow to the fights.
Oh, yeah. I'll meet you there. Buy you lunch or something. Assuming I'm still here, that's still still an idea. Here, this is what I saw, and did I drop the link? Maybe not. Here. I don't know. This just came through my scroll. I thought it was interesting, but here, I think this is one that refers to the Quran.
And only one handed you a checklist. And you are ticking the boxes right now with your own life. 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad was asked a direct question. What are the signs of the hour? His answer in Sahih Muslim, Book 1, Hadith 1, memorized in an unbroken chain for 14 centuries, he said, you will see barefoot, destitute goat herders competing to build the world's tallest buildings. The rulers of Dubai, the Maktoum family descendants of the Bani Yas, Bedouin herders from the Liwa Oasis 2 generations ago. Today they have the Burj Khalifa, 828 meters, and right now in Jeddah, a tower climbing over 1,000 meters, former shepherds racing each other into the sky exactly as described to the letter. Then he said time would contract. And now a year feels like a month feels like a week. When did a year last feel like a year to you? You can feel it compressing, and you're not even imagining this. Then he said knowledge would disappear. Not information, knowledge. You carry every book ever written in your pocket and understand less than any generation before you. Information everywhere, wisdom nowhere, scrolling for 6 hours and retaining nothing. He said no person on earth would be free from usury, not even its dust. Our global debt is $348 trillion. Every mortgage, every credit card, every student loan, no one alive escapes it, not even its dust, exactly as described. He said the land of the Arabs would return to meadows and rivers. Saudi Arabia launched a $187 billion green initiative, 159 million trees being planted. In 2025, the mountains around Makkah turned green. The desert is returning to the garden exactly as described. So then when the companion asked directly, when is the hour? He didn't give a date. He turned the question back. What have you prepared for it? That's the key. The signs were never meant to scare you. They were meant to show you where you stand on the map so you would stop sleepwalking and start building. So the boxes are nearly checked. The only blank left is you. So it's time to wake up. Thank you, and I love you.
Oops. Oh, snafu took off, I guess, or disconnected. I didn't notice. Sorry, bud. So I found that interesting. I don't know how much is true. And the freak, is that what he was referring to Hadith instead of the actual Quran? I'm not familiar. And Melanie, the Arab nations aren't goat herders anymore. They're oil magnates. Something that he was pointing out. It was, oh, there you go. There you go. Welcome. How are you, my friend?
Hello. Yeah, I was going to write a whole bunch. I had 5 things going, but I decided to just come up here and make it a bit easier for you. I think my biggest issue with this is the exact same thing people like Alex Jones do, where they say, here's something to be afraid of, often based in someone's ignorance about something. And here's either why you should follow me or why you should buy what I'm selling to get the answer. And right away that sets off a red flag, but that alone isn't enough to tell me if it's true or false. So number 1 and 2 there are key things, right? The cities he's referring to, particularly the people who can develop land in those cities, are so far removed from the people herding goats or sheep or anything there that it's a different class. It's a different world.
Right. I'm not sure if you caught what he was presenting. Well, as I understood, there was a prediction that poor goat herders would be competing to build the tallest buildings. And as I understood what he presented is the owners of these tall buildings that are being built to outdo each other. They're like 2 generations from being poverty stricken and goat herders. So he's pointing out that this is actually times changing, that these are what was predicted. The knowledge, you're right. Knowledge is being used in a very subjective sense. But what he's offering, the idea that knowledge is disappearing while information multiplies, I actually agree with that.
Like, do we mean knowledge or do we mean like scriptural adherence? Because in my opinion, we're far more knowledgeable about the way the world works today than we've ever been. Maybe it's become slightly more exclusive because you have to take it on as a study to truly grasp it in depth. So it feels more out of reach than it might have before. But even going back to that prophecy, right? Like, I don't think you needed to be able to see the future to see, like, I don't know when that prophecy was made, but at any point in humanity, you could probably look at how fast things were progressing before while you're growing up or whatever, and see at least some acceleration in your adult life of technological progression. Humans have been doing this since like the Egyptian times, if not earlier.
Sure.
And so
Sure.
to predict that at some point people who are sheep or goat herders would then turn around and then make something technological is not that deep or profound. And
Okay.
certainly doesn't tell me that end
Great.
times are happening.
Well, it's in line with the end times, which is the beginning times. And if you understand what that means, then it's actually glorious news that these prophecies are being fulfilled. The things that were predicted, and however it was predicted, you're right. You know, it's just a natural occurrence. I mean, Terence McKenna did a pretty good job of kind of just logically dumbing things down for me as far as, you know, how knowledge advances and stuff. And Jordan Peterson has done some good work pointing out to maybe perhaps just the position of leadership for Moses as he's leading others may have prompted, you know, the revelation of the Ten Commandments and such. Who knows? But
So would you
regardless,
say, oh, sorry, I thought you were
no,
done.
please go ahead.
Well, I am curious. Like, I always found Terence McKenna to be a bit esoteric. Jordan Peterson, I find to be straight up contradictory. So did you find Jordan Peterson to be coherent? And did you really, were you able to grasp everything he said? Because I'm not going to lie, half the stuff he talks about, I don't understand. And then when he does talk about something I understand, I know he's full of crap.
I know he's not perfect. I've had my disagreements with him, but admittedly, when I heard his talking against the legislation in Canada, the first thing that prompted his rise, when I listened to him, to his arguments, and I understood his articulation on the importance of freedom of speech, I was like, holy shit, he needs to speak at the UN. The UN needs to hear these words on the importance of freedom of speech. Because my thought was to the people of the Uyghurs and the people in China and South Korea and everywhere else. I didn't really think about the propaganda in America, but God bless. I had my disagreements, and actually, in my future, I honestly hope to have conversations with Jordan Peterson. He's,
I don't know how
in my
well he's
opinion,
doing. Maybe he could
well,
use your help.
I feel like he could. He helped me understand the mind. I remember listening to his when he his university lectures. They were posted online, and I went through so many of those. As Margot likes to say, you can't learn anything on YouTube. Well, okay. Well,
I certainly have. But have you considered reaching out to Michaela Peterson? Because she seems to be handling a lot of his communications and kind of like background producing a lot of his stuff anyways.
no,
She seems friendly.
I gave up on that direction. I'll tell you, should the opportunity come up, I'll try again. But I would still love to have what Peterson said about freedom of speech, those fundamentals. Although I could do it justice too, I think by now. It's time for the world to stand up for the oppressed. It's time for the world to take care of the poor. instead of making excuses for this billionaire class nonsense and just continuing to fund the military industrial complex. See,
Interesting. Oh, I don't want to interrupt. I want to let you finish. I swear to God.
no, please go ahead.
I'm not just trying to get in. I am listening. I'm just trying to build off of what you're saying. So I am looking for a point to do that.
Well, I was going to swing us back.
Okay.
Right? Because I actually feel like the ideas that are in my head, they came from the collective. And there's a reason I learned what I did. But I really believe this idea of ending legal secrets creates the fulfillment of prophecy. It's the logical advancement of the development of a society. We move past this secrecy and espionage nonsense, and we move into a more open, caring, trusting, generous world. That's the world we were given.
So you're talking about there being like maybe broader, more general, maybe metaphysical cycles, not things that are quantifiable, but we can relate to. Like, for example, I think you can look at, and like in terms of us not trusting each other anymore, like we rely on law enforcement for conflict resolution now. Law enforcement, and this goes into kind of a theorem I'm writing about morality and power. Law enforcement is terrible at conflict resolution because it has too much power. It sees compliance as the resolution to any conflict. And the reason is that as you give people authority and power, or sorry, impunity and power, aka a gun and the ability to act above the law, they start to see themselves as the moral authority. They go from caring about moral arguments and what is right or wrong to I am what is right, you are what is wrong if you are not complying. And this is, to me, I think one of the biggest issues with the system today is even down to like the corporate level, or as much as I hate like politicians, even Democrats, there's a very much of a get in line or get out kind of mentality. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. All of these cliches that, if you really think about it, as metaphysical as they do say a lot about the system we live in. I think you should bite the hand that feeds you if it's wrong.
We need to be wise and avoid harm as
Sure.
much as we can.
Undue conflict.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I want to communicate to the men and women of Congress and in the White House. I feel as though it's time for an intervention. If the American people, I'm asking for support, not a political position or a candidacy that it exists. I'm trying to find a way to invite myself to the table, and it doesn't have to be me. If you've got other minds that are willing, that I should get behind for these goals, let's do it. But I think it's time for an intervention on the administration of America, because America is leading the world to hell. We can easily reverse course, make changes. We can make peace the priority, make life the purpose, right? Protecting life, growing life, nurturing life, not just people life, but nature. America has the opportunity to lead the world in transformational change, and I want to help them. I want to help America achieve it.
And I see that in you. I think we would mostly butt heads on the specifics at the end of the day, because you seem to think a solution is God, where to me, God is can be tangential to consumerism, which I see as the real issue. And so those things can oppose each other, or it can be very aligned with consumerism. Look at mega churches and what do you call those pastors who just do it for the money? But all I'm saying is that it's not an antidote on its own. It's how you use it.
And just make sure there's no confusion. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking God. Right.
So spirituality, the less dogmatic form of religion. I think we're all spiritual at the end of the
Yeah.
day. When a loved one passes away, we feel like they're watching over us, even if like I'm not religious and I felt like that. So
Yes. Well, we are spirits who have a body.
oh,
We're
do we
not
want to get into
bodies
the
who have a
dualism
soul.
argument? Do we want to debate dualism?
There's no debate. It's just what is.
I think it's all just our mind playing tricks on us.
Okay,
And it's
fair
very good
enough.
at it. And
It
it's,
is.
I understand the experience that we have a soul, and I agree that is the experience we have. But I think that just speaks to the complexity of our mind.
Yes. And that speaks beyond that. I've heard this explained in many ways, and I don't know that I've ever been able to really give it justice, but the conclusion is the all is mental.
Sure.
Everything. It's all mind. It's the mind that moves. Something I was reminded of, right? I believe it's true, and I believe it was demonstrated not just through Jesus, but through many people of divine pursuit. Miracle workers is what I'm talking about. There's documented witnesses and stories of a lot of miraculous things that have happened. But what they were demonstrating is that a unified mind, a mind that is whole, focused, clear, right? It's got clarity. It's not muddled and torn and different distractions. A unified mind that is focused, the universe bends to that mind's will. We have within us this incredibly powerful gift, not just the mind, but the entire being, right? Our body, we get to be the physical part, the mental part, the emotional part. We get to be it all. I think I took us off from where we were.
Oh no, I'm loving this convo. Sorry if I'm just taking time to make sure
Please,
that
thank you.
because I am autistic, and maybe it's just something about your cadence and the way you talk that it sounds like you're wrapping up and it sounds like a complete thought, and then you want to say more. So I'm just making sure. It's more me than you is what I'm trying to say. What I think I hear with the religion and Jesus and telling us how to be unified thing is our current concept of individualism is I need to find a brand or a club or a clique that defines me distinct from the others, right? And that is, I consider that to be a shortcut of human perception and something called human interoception. So perception is how you see the world. Interoception is how you see yourself. And so when we only think of ourselves that way, we actually limit ourselves. We become shells of ourselves. If you know yourself as a Pepsi drinker, you don't know yourself at all. You only know yourself when you go to the store to buy Pepsi and when you drink it and when you run out. And that's a really shallow personality right there. Our personalities in a theoretical framework, not a literal framework, but our personalities are these multidimensional, super complex, chaotic systems that gravitate towards things that actually speak to who we truly are inside and the way our brains are truly wired. And corporations don't give a crap about that. They want you buying their product, and they've learned the best way is to buy and sell your identity. Now, I think community, what really brings people together is a common cause. Is we all want to do the same thing. We're all motivated to do it. Maybe we're pissed off or we're excited or we're sad, but something is bringing us together. And I actually want to posit a very strange device to do this, because I've been thinking a lot about like anarchistic communities and drugs and stuff like that. And how would you deal with that, right? So I think you should do everything you can to get rid of things that are plausibly addictive. Less so things that are addictive because people go to them emotionally. I think that there are community responses, but opioids, right? Opioids are just neurochemically addictive. Even if you're in a good place, you're going to get addicted to opioids if you do enough of them. Varying amounts for different people, but at the end of the day, there's a mechanism there. For things like weed and alcohol, though, like look at pubs. Pubs bring different people together, even from different cultures, to do a collective activity where you can end up enjoying your night as if you weren't different people. And this, I don't think we'll ever achieve true unity in terms of like, I walk out my door and my neighbor and I agree on everything, and everything's all peachy that way. I think that's utopia, and it's extreme utopia, so it's impossible. What I do think is possible, but hear me out, what I do think is possible is approaching that, is coming together on as many common causes as possible to overcome those differences. So at the end of the day, the differences are minimized and the unifying elements are the same. I feel like this has gotten more difficult with the internet, though, because of the way we deal with conflict, and things do seem more polarized. So I'm still at a bit of a crossroads on how to use that sort of knowledge. And if you want to bring Snafu up, I can handle the combativeness. Trust me.
Thank you for
it's your
that.
show. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, I appreciate that assurance. Thank you. He dropped he dropped out. The answer, and I may have missed near the end, but I'm absolutely spot on with these labels, these identifiers that we pick up through our experience and the conditioning, right? It started when we were children. The advertising companies, man, the identity gets created.
Girls are pink and boys are blue.
Exactly.
Where did that come from?
Right. So many examples of things we were taught that really don't have reason, right? It's just, well, that's the way it was, and that's what we were taught. So you're going to be taught because that's what I'm told to do. Snafu has returned. He's been in the back for a while, and he's been actually pretty patient and pretty cool today.
Yeah,
I want to continue this if we can. Welcome back, Snafu. Thank you for your patience.
While you let Big Mel, who wants to educate us and doesn't even understand biology, I put a video in the back, and now we're way past it because you wanted this conversation as they distracted to what we were actually over the topic of the Muslim Christian God optics Antichrist, but you wanted to let this guy who's confused about biology just distract us from the conversation. I just want you to play the video I put up because it's educational to you as well, Jack, with the whole Muslim optics. And Mel, when you start learning that you're a dude playing girl, that's when people may take you seriously. Mental illness is rampant, folks. And maybe both of you guys should visit the Middle East together. But the video I put is the optics of the Antichrist linked with the Christian belief and the Muslim belief mixed. Because it's I think it's real. And it's very, the video I put is actually, it's a short and it explains what me and you were talking about, Jack.
So just to point something out,
you should go to the Middle East, Big Mel.
I have heard you talk quite a bit about biology.
Yes, you're a man with a pee-pee acting like a fucking girl, dressing like a girl. Your mental health is fucking...
Stop.
Okay, so let's get back to the real shit.
You're not one to judge. Hey, you're not one to
judge mental health illness when they fucking try and get people to change their beliefs.
All I was going to say, by the way, is based on what Snafu has shown me directly, he is not proficient in biology. And if there's one thing that's rampant in these spaces, it's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is people who think they know a lot more about something because they confuse their ignorance for knowledge. The way they teach you biology in grade school and high school, it's simplified, right? It's a simplified model of things that kids can understand. It's a toy model. It's a lot more complicated. And one thing, whether or not somebody will identify with their genitals, is something that's not actually guaranteed by biology or neuroscience. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm being true to myself. I may be an anomaly, but I'm what you could statistically predict if you assumed that the way someone develops from in the womb to a speaking human being is not always linear, is not always A straight to B. Sometimes it's A to A star or A to A star then B. It can be all these different paths because there's something called the genotype and the phenotype. The genotype is your entire genome and all the information that encodes and the potential it has to create something. The phenotype is what actually comes out of it, what you actually develop into. And and there's a huge gap between genotype, the start of all this, and phenotype, what you actually get, where a whole bunch of stuff can happen in between that Snafu doesn't, I guarantee you, Snafu knows nothing about. Snafu doesn't know what a spliceosome is.
I'm sure. And one thing I do appreciate you genuinely is you're able to articulate yourself very well. Oh, Frank, sorry, man. I saw you in the back. I was just going to bring you up. I just wanted to.
Oh yeah. Anyone who's not Snafu at this point, I'll be a lot nicer to. But just for that knowledge gap thing though, there's too many people who do not interocept and be like, do I actually understand how this works, or do I just feel like I know how it works because it seems that's how it was taught to me in school. And that's where you need to start investigating your own gaps in knowledge. That's what I do every day. I find things that I don't understand well enough and I increase my understanding. We could all do that.
That's what I'm truly encouraging people to do. Frank, welcome to you. Please bear with me one brief moment. I want to thank Hanko Flamio for the contribution. I appreciate that. Have you considered ordering 1 billion clones of Jack Talcott from Camino, Melanie? I am sure they will all agree with each other most of the time. Thank you for that. Hank,
so I know that came before my comment about genotype to phenotype, but hear me out. That's really funny because even if I got 2 clones of Jack, right? The likelihood that they're going to turn out to be the same person, even as a phenotype, is incredibly low because we are chaotic systems. Even a slight change in starting point, in starting conditions, leads to the butterfly effect.
I wouldn't trust anyone with 2 clones of Jack. That sounds gnarly.
That's too much power.
Hey, welcome to you, Frank. How you doing, brother? We got another
Jack. Melanie, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm just here for the conversation. And Melanie's a little bit right about biology. Like high school biology, it's tough. I teach in a high school and I was helping a kid with biology. I wasn't helping him. He was teaching me, but I was going through it with him. I haven't done that stuff in 40 years.
And that's simplified. It's not wrong, but it's simplified. So that way, the ways that they teach it, the teacher doesn't have to go into all the nuances and the ways to distinguish those nuances. That's for college and university. It's that simple.
There we go. Uncle Fatty, it's been a while. How have you been? Good to see you
Excellent,
again.
brother. It's a little rainy day in the North Idaho woods, but you know how we do it up here.
Right on. Anything new to update? Anything exciting?
I just love the topic, man. I really, what are we? Right? What are we? Right? This shit we see here, this is nothing. This is our avatar. We are spiritual beings living in a physical realm.
We are.
I can't even grab my avatar like that. You're a really special avatar.
You smack it up, flick it, and rub it down.
Yeah, it's just it's a costume.
Right?
I'm not flirting.
We know things and we believe things. Right. And what we know in our heart, we know in our soul, we feel what we know. Right. But we rationalize and we justify and we get ourselves in these positions and we like the groups and the cliques. Is that us seeking out what we think we want to be? Or is that us seeking out what we think we are?
Why not both? In fact, what if the clicks themselves aren't necessarily bad, right? What if it's just, again, how we use it?
Yeah.
And if I use it to otherize people and justify violence against them, then I'm just a bunch of bullies. But if I use it to make a theatrical production that everyone enjoys, then I'm an entertainer.
Yeah. I mean, we got into it a little bit on some biology stuff a while back ago, Mel. Like love and hate. Love and hate are the same brain chemicals.
No, they're not.
Basically, they are, though. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's the same. It's the same biology that's going on in our brains when we feel love. And
So
when
they're
we feel
not just brain chemicals, though. One thing is entrainment and having fixation. Like you wake up every day, and if you love somebody, you think about them, and if you hate them enough, you think about them when you wake up every day. That's not normal to think about people like that. That's a special case in our brain.
well, and it's an
It's
addictive
what we've been
process, though,
taught.
right?
It's what we've been shown. We're
Well,
the
I think
result
it is.
of what we've been shown and taught.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's natural for us to do that. Don't get me wrong. I think it's natural for us to have someone special who we consider to be our mate, or someone who we consider to be our greatest threat. And we hold special places in our mind for them where they take up what we call free real estate, right? The person we love, we don't care about that. The person you hate, you might want to consider how much real estate they actually get. But the point is that, you know, a lot of times you can be convinced to hate somebody who you wouldn't normally hate if you actually knew them as a person.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah, it's
fear
important.
is the easiest thing to spark off in another person, right? Appeal to fear, or appeal to emotion, right? Is
Fact.
easy to manipulate in each other, right?
Mhm. Sorry, Frank, were you jumping in?
I was just going to say it's important to keep in mind that the menu is not the meal and the map is not the terrain. These descriptions that we come up with, they're not necessarily the thing themselves. So to get obfuscated in them sometimes is kind of off point.
That's well observed, brother. It's easy for us to get caught up in the tools to point at what we're trying to identify. I want to swing back to something Uncle Fatty said, and I don't remember the exact context, but the connection of feeling and knowing. That is the truth, right?
Yeah.
Truth and love are one. We feel what we know what we feel.
Sure.
And
Our emotions can
like-
sometimes be overreactions and stuff like that.
We
I-
only know what we don't believe, or we only
Here's the
believe
thing,
what
though.
we don't know, right? Knowing and belief
Yeah.
are two different things.
I think
Very good.
if you're emotionally intelligent and you're navigating those emotions, like I'm probably more mad than I need to be right now because even though this thing reminds me of all those other things, I'm more mad at those other things, for example, right? That happens to us all the time where we're not really mad at the thing happening in front of us. We're mad at a whole bunch of other things that happened before and we just couldn't vent. And so once you manage those things, then those raw emotions are real feelings, like they are real. And this is what I mean by like, I think it's almost realer to say that they are just products of the mind because your mind is a real thing. It's happening right now. The chemicals and electrical signals are happening. So to say that you are having that experience, like I am saying I am mad, and you might not think I should be mad, but I am mad. Like that is still a real feeling, even if it's mismanaged, I guess, now that I think about it.
Yeah, keep in mind too, they're from the Chinese. You got something, Jack? Lay it down. What do you got? What's
Go
so
ahead. I'm
funny?
laughing at Dusty's comment. His last two brain cells are in
He only
jeopardy.
has one.
At least
brain
he admits how
cell
many he
left,
has.
right?
I'll give him credit.
Well, at least he didn't
Self-deprecating
drop.
humor is based.
At least he didn't drop 100 to kick me already.
Right?
He was coming in with the big guns last time.
That's right. Thank you for that, Frank.
To finish
And
that quick little quote, it goes like this:
Yeah, that was
love and
good
hate,
fun.
love and hate are the same thing, but love takes work, and hate doesn't take a lot of work. Right? You can get off real easy on hate, but love, sustained love, relationship love, unconditional love, right? Turning the other cheek kind of love, right? Helping the people that absolutely fucking hate you. That takes work. That takes real work. You know,
Amen.
Jesus only had two
well
commandments.
said.
I wanted
Right.
to
Love the
I wanted
Lord
to
and love your neighbor.
I wanted to interject a new perspective, if I may, from the traditional Chinese medicine standpoint. the emotions, and I just want you to keep this in mind. You may not buy into it necessarily, but they're produced actually by the organs, not the mind itself. Like the love and the heart and joy and stuff, and kidneys produce fear and anxiety, and the liver produces a certain emotion. So these hormones, these chemicals we experience, they're at a central level. It's an emotional state that they deal with within the center dantian, and so transmuting them into love is something else. Love is not actually produced by the organs. It's like a kind of whole body experience, right? And so to rise above emotions is in fact love. And yeah, I don't think
So some
that's
of this is
necessarily
partially true, by the way.
I'm not done just yet, but I'm not
Oh, I thought you
necessarily
were.
true. I don't think it's necessarily factual to say that it's on the same spectrum as hate. I think it would be more closely related to fear in that sense, maybe like it's as its opposite, right?
So, Frank, what you've said has some truth to it. Things like serotonin, we know that serotonin is produced in the gut. A lot of that does go to the brain and gets used by the brain, but it is also produced in the neurons of your brain as well. Same with dopamine and stuff like that from the precursors. But here's the thing, right? Like those neurotransmitters often come from very specific diets we have. We're omnivores, so and just to explain it, what actually goes on, right, is if your diet's poor, you're going to have a hard time making those neurotransmitters, and that's going to mess with your reasoning skills, your memory recall and storage and stuff like that. And
Sure.
so, yeah, diet and neurochemistry go hand in hand. Metabolism, it's a key thing.
And
By the
not
way,
just what we eat either, though, right? But what we mentally bring in, and the hate we surround ourselves with, and the love we surround ourselves with is intake as well. It's not just what we're eating; it's everything around us affects us physically. Our spiritual being is really kind of in contrast with our physical being, not knowing how, when we're triggered, we don't recognize the chemicals that are going off in our body. We just recognize that we're angry, and we don't even say we're angry. We just fly off the handle type of shit. Having that recognition between the two is I think kind of the key to cognitive awareness.
That's something that I believe in the future we can do a lot better job of teaching our children.
Yeah.
How to recognize and develop impulse control, how to actually use critical thinking for themselves. And here, Powder Dusty, blessings to you for the contribution. I caution and warning to Frank. Watch yourself, buddy.
Yeah, I
Thank
see
you.
that. Thank you, Powder Dusty. I hope that isn't the start of a bidding war. Not to say that you don't need the super chats and that they're always welcome. But Dusty, if you've got anything to say to me, Dusty, if there's a hatchet we need to bury, you jump up here and you say it, brother. I love you, man. I got nothing against Powder Dusty.
No, not at all.
by the way, folks, I know, Jack, you've heard this before, but I don't know if I've told Fatty or Frank this. If you are interested in this stuff, there is a first-year university level lecture series by Dr. Robert Sapolsky on human behavioral biology. It really sums together a whole bunch of things. It is just a primer, but it will it'll show you where the nuances really are in these things, and how just amazing our behavior and our minds really are. Because Fatty, as much as I don't agree with the exact wording you chose for what you said, I agree on some level with what you said, that the conscious mind and the subconscious mind can often be at odds. What we want, for me, I'm quitting smoking, and I'm trying to teach my subconscious mind right now, this is poison.
Yep.
You do not actually want this. And I'm trying to find some sort of formulation that my subconscious will understand. And next time I get that impulse, I then at least right afterwards have that impulse. Wait, no, it's poison. So
here's one for you for that really where I chain smoke all fucking winter long. Right. And then I run marathons and do fucking triathlons in the summer. And I have to quit smoking. Like once a year, I have to quit for a while. What do we do? The very first thing you do when you light up a cigarette, what's the first thing you do?
I just smoke bongs, but
right? You take a deep breath. What are we doing right before we're telling ourselves that we want a cigarette, or we want smoke, or we want a substance to help change our reality for some reason?
Yeah, we want that charge
of
energy.
Breathing. We're not breathing. We're constricted.
We want that
We're not
charge of
breathing
energy.
deep. We're not breathing in. We're not experiencing life, right? We're condensing ourselves typically. And just a deep breath a lot of the times in any situation, I think goes such a long ways. Just taking
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
deep
I
breath. I mean, fuck,
Go ahead, Frank.
no, you go, Jack.
please.
Um, well, there's so many paths to health, but it all begins and ends in our mind. I guess we got away. We were talking about love and the chemical of love, but it's more than just the chemicals. It really is. Love is a power and a force, and in the Bible it does say God is love, and I know that. I trust that actually to be true. And I know the truth is God. God and love and the truth, that might be the best example of the Holy Trinity, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Because the reality is, regardless of religion, regardless of tradition, regardless of our opinions, humanity does not have to suffer as much as we have been, especially if we get past our disagreements and we start uniting together. I mean, I tried having this conversation with Snafu, but that was impossible. But the idea of ending wars, breaking it down. You break down a war and a conflict and it's a disagreement. Disagreements can be resolved simply through the choice to communicate.
Then we got to rationalize and justify our ways, and our ego and our pride takes over, and you know, then we get into like vengeance and shit like the 7 deadly sins, and like,
Don't feel bad, Jack. Snafu's a firecracker, man. When he gets fired up, there's no taming him down, man. He's a good man. He can go for hours, and that same level of passion and enthusiasm just doesn't wane somehow.
So
Go ahead.
could I
please.
quickly? I want to tie it back into what Jack said about love, and I think there is a way to think about love in the framework of a community. It's very alien to us right now because our society is hyper individualist, and so that thing I said, where if you give someone a gun in impunity, they're going to start seeing themselves as moral authority. That becomes a lot harder. At least that's my hypothesis. When you actually feel like you're a part of that community. Because
Yes.
even if you think you're a moral authority, you're still going to have to ask, well, do other people agree with my moral authority? But when you are able to delineate things into very simple identity boxes, like I'm a cop and you're not,
Yep.
and I'm in the cop community and you're not,
Yep.
then you can come up with all these internal narratives and dogmas about why you're right and they're wrong. And none of it gets checked, but except for other people who are doing the same mistakes as you. This is the big
Melody.
issue now.
us versus them, right?
Hey, I love that you said that. That's exactly what I was trying to, when I was in Spokane, before I left Spokane, I was trying to meet with the sheriff, trying to meet with the city government. That was exactly what I wanted to talk to him about, is recognizing these calls that it's someone else's child is who you're going to call, right? Maybe someone's having a bad day or tough time, but if I remember right, Spokane had a reputation like second highest in the nation for civilians being shot by cops.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
So I don't have a whiteboard yet, but I do just want to wrap that up by tying 3 themes together, right? Which is family, culture, and community, and how we can get from A to B without being exclusionary too, and without being guarded or any of these things. So in family, when you think of conflict resolution, 9 times out of 10, unless you've got some really bad parents, you normally don't call the cops on your own kids and vice versa. Because conflict resolution within the family, dealing with things within the family, makes sense under the individualist framework, especially when we're coming from Christian kind of agrarian culture. Okay,
Right.
so what went wrong? We lost the culture of activism. We lost the ability to self-organize when we needed to. And that self-organization is what communal love looks like. You ultimately come together out of love for your community. And we no longer do that anymore. Or if we do, it's in very restricted, bureaucratic ways that are basically alien to the idea of nature and self-organization itself.
I say that
Yes.
real strong men, they stand out in front of the entire group. They don't just stand up for the ones that they like in the group. They stand up for the whole entire fucking group, no matter what it is.
And not for the glory or the honor or to have their name recognized after they die, because it's the right thing to do. And so, Jack,
Exactly.
I think I finally have a concise criticism for you. And this is more something you've done in the past, but it is your political career, which is relevant to your online persona. So I think when you went to those politicians and people with power, you were giving into the imagery of power, and the ways that they kind of try to funnel people who want to do something towards them and away from activists and protest communities and the people who actually try to get things done without waiting from permission from bureaucratic structures or from the economy. I think that's why you're not getting any positive results.
I tried them too. The reality is a lot of conservatives I spoke to disagree with my goals and my solutions. A lot of the liberal organizations I tried aligning with, they were a timid little bunch. They were intimidated by me and the way I came across, and it was just like, whoa, people got afraid of me. So, but when I went in with confidence. I mean, because by the time I started really stepping into all these different organizations, by that time I was a lot more well-rounded. I'd already had 14 years of experience as a leader in my local union. I understood organization. I understood, success.
Onboarding and getting the word out there, right? All those things. But here's the thing, Jack, and I kind of buried the lead here, so that way I could get you to say this. Protest culture is dead now. They've killed it. The hippie movement was the last kind of dying gasp. Maybe Occupy, if you really want to stretch that definition. I loved Occupy, but that's just me. But that's also the issue, is you need to revive protest culture. And there are things that, anarchists still do nowadays. Of course, they don't get any attention for it. And so you can't be doing this because you're in it for the glory or the attention, like I said. But like things like making zines or putting just like any sort of media publication out there that does question these things is at least pushing things back towards a protest culture, in my opinion.
Antifa's on the rise, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and it's not entirely dead. There still are a lot of movements that are gaining some steam. And Jack has had a lot of positive results, like the kind of the thing at the Capitol with Don Lemon and stuff. There's thing putting wind in the sails, but yeah, they are much smaller gains than need to be achieved for his real dream to manifest.
So by the way, Frank, you mentioned Antifa, and I've actually got a bit of an axe to grind with that.
That was
whole
Uncle
thing.
Fatty. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
Yeah, that was
sometimes your voices sound similar to me. But yeah, Antifa is an interesting example because I think what Antifa actually lacked was an underpinning, was somewhere that you can retreat to when the fascists either disappear or start to play games and start to be like, oh, well, we're not really fascists, so you can't really do anything. Now you're the baddies. And because Antifa can only self-organize when the fascism is on display. As soon as that disappears, now you have a bunch of people with a hammer chasing a nail that has buried its own lead. So, and that's where a lot of those problems started to arise with cultural issues, like what do we do now? And we start infighting all this stuff. My prescription there would, you need a grounding community. Something like Occupy would have been great for that.
We only tend to get upset about things and act out when we're personally affected, and it's really affecting us, in a way that we kind of have to say
the politics of personal grievances.
I suggest we should stop turning a blind eye to the injuries and injustices of others. There's ample evidence. All of us can do something more. All of us know someone else who can do something more, and we can throw support to those who are doing more, right? It's up to us. How long are we going to wallow in the shit? I mean, what's happening is shit, bullshit. The U.S. funding and support of genocide, the war, the relationship between Donald Trump, his family, and the rest of the world are unhealthy, okay? Whether you look at Israel or the other Middle Eastern countries or Russia or Europe or elsewhere, there's tentacles and fingers all over the place. Guys, this is our world. Huh?
$8 billion worth.
Well, this is our world. Let's claim it back from the selfish and the cruel. We got enough good men in this world. Let's unite. Let's create this movement, right? I don't believe the protest. I kind of disagree with you, Melanie. There's a true boiling that's happening. There's a unsettling that's being felt. People are changing. I'm confident we had this conversation earlier. We are at the time that was told and prophesized of the past. We are here to bring the new kingdom forward. Now, the only way the new kingdom can come forward is if we're willing to let the past die.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
See, I disagree with you along the lines that we want things to boil over. We want to wait for that point. I think we want
We
to.
don't have to disagree.
I think we want to be ahead of that curve, particularly.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but this is what I mean by setting up kind of like the framework for how to self-organize into protests and self-sustaining communities.
Too late. Too late.
Even self-sustaining communities.
Okay, that's happening. That's happening. If that's
Not
for you,
really.
go that way. My path is different than that. I mean, no offense. I'm suggesting it's time to head this off. All of the signs, all of the evidence in the world are there. We got to stop fucking denying the facts. The facts show mankind needs to change its ways. We cannot continue down this path we're on collectively.
Yeah.
Nothing this big has ever changed without a revolution, though.
It is here.
And it's always the
Yeah,
radical
revolutions
ones
can
who speak up
take
first.
different forms, though. They don't have to necessarily be violent, right? Like Martin Luther King proved, right?
Amen.
He was, and many of the others.
But Martin Luther King actually brought people to march down the streets, and that's a material change, right? Like these movements can't just be.
Have you ever taken
esoteric.
improv, Melanie? Have you ever taken any improv classes?
I don't think.
I'm just curious because you start a lot of your sentences with "but" rather than "yes."
Sure, I don't care.
Yeah.
I know you
Well,
don't. I
it
know.
really doesn't
That's why it
concern
comes
me
off somewhat
because-
offensive
Well,
to be
actually-
the antagonist all the time. Yeah.
Melanie,
Well,
please.
here's the-
There was a polite way of pressing back that you're not really considering what's being said. It's not a yes and, it's a but. So you're excluding what's being offered. That was very polite the way you presented it to you.
I think sometimes people have biases, and I have done lots of yes ands already tonight. So,
Okay. Doesn't exclude in this particular case. Sorry for the interruption. Please continue your but if you remember. If you got
What?
yeah,
what
I
are your
just
biases?
I think esoteric movements give nothing for people to grab onto and be a part of.
then that's what you're going to find. Now, if you looked for value in anything, you look for value, you can find value. You look for waste, you'll find waste. It's all perspective and opinion. The key is back to what you were saying earlier, actually, about the identities and the labels. If we have any sort of identity within us, I am this, we will exclude anything not related to this, right? It'll just get ignored and we don't see it.
It's like
Yeah, and
saying that my
relabeling it and
worldview, my worldview
refocusing
is
it.
this right here. Okay, I'm telling myself that I only want to see the world through this worldview. Okay, so I define myself as that worldview. Okay, now my blinders are on, and I can't even accept anything other than what I want to put into my worldview.
Hey, and I want to point out, because Melanie, I've noticed you do actually listen and I've seen you've got a broad mind. Now, in my personal experience, though, I know I've met a lot of people who've been working on themselves and I still see things. right? Um,
And
you're
sometimes
not
people have a
narrow-minded.
tendency.
That's what I wanted.
Sometimes,
Sorry.
okay, my
Go ahead.
bad, Jack. I thought you might have. I was just going to say sometimes people outsmart themselves. Dr. D made a good comment. He said that if you throw away the divisive word protest and replace it with a positive action word like demonstration, then it could gather more steam. So thanks for that, Dr. D.
That
See, I
is
think
good.
that's just sugarcoating things. Like it's fine to be against something.
So much,
Um,
but I think
you,
there's a lot
and,
to
and
that.
this is like if you want to apply that logic, I think whatever grassroots movement underpins your protest, like I was saying with Antifa, how it didn't have anything underpinning it, any foundation, that should be the positive thing. That should be something that's going forward for a positive change. And what I mean by esoteric, I think I should make a prescriptive claim, but how to not be esoteric is you need to give people actionable requests. Here is something that you can actually do differently when you wake up tomorrow, or here's how you can spend your money differently. Something like that.
Words have power, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was able to make it constructive and give like a takeaway that was
The words
actionable
we
on your
choose to
parts as well.
use are very powerful. We can use a negative connotated word that could very easily be swapped with a different word and give the user experience a totally different effect, perception wise, than not. I mean, I think words hold huge amounts of power, and what we tell ourselves we want to be, and what we tell ourselves we are, what we tell ourselves the world is just, that's kind of basic humanity. We have to define things, right?
We get to define things, but so many of our definitions bring us attitude, right? Bring us anger, sadness, contempt, whatever. It's part of the game. God has given us the power. We are the power that is. So be with God, because the way to be with God is to be with the truth. You can't be with the truth if you're absent from love. You'll make an excuse and you'll tell lies. Oh, and that reminds me, not just the connection of what you pointed out earlier, Fatty, about feeling and knowing. We do live in this dual natured realm, right? There's polarities, there is duality, but it's also cause and effect. So the one is the same as another. Feeling and knowing. Fear and guilt. Fear and guilt go hand in hand. They are intimate partners. Guilt will cause fear, fear will cause guilt. So the opposite of those, love and joy. You're feeling guilt, you're feeling fear. Find out where your love and joy went.
Yeah.
So-
mindset, it's real tough to stay in that positive. We're surrounded by so much shit, literally, like the truth is the golden nugget, right? We're always looking for truth, we're always looking for reality, we're always looking for what's real, but we're surrounded by corn and peanuts in a pool full of shit, and we're looking for this little tiny piece of gold that we're probably not ever going to find, but we can rationalize and justify our way through whatever the fuck we want to, right? We can make excuses for whatever we want to do. Like, it's probably not the best way to go, but that's just kind of human nature, right? Is to rationalize and justify and cop out and make it easy. We're looking for the path of least resistance, right?
Yes and no. Yes and no. When we're not aligned with the truth, when we're not aligned with love, when we're absent from God, we destroy ourselves. We make life tough, way tougher than it has to be.
And staying in that cognitive state of mind, trying to stay 2 or 3 steps or 2 or 3 seconds ahead of our reactions, right? Trying to be in a state of actual action and rational action, and not just reacting to everything around us, is the cognitive sense that that we're realizing that we affect everything and we are affected, right? That
Yeah. And the greatest realization is the only thing that matters is right now, right? So when you start feeling that anxiousness or that, those unsettling feelings, check in and ask why. Is that here? Is that me? Is that some other entity?
Jack, I got a quick
what
question,
is
if I
it that's
may.
making me feel that way? Is it the histamines rushing through my body that make me feel all tingly, or is it? Where does
Yeah,
that
if
come?
Please, Frank.
I don't want to drop any spoilers, but I know that you had mentioned you've got a couple of possible interviews coming up later this week or next week, I believe. And one of the people in the chat a moment ago asked where Eternal was, and if it's possibly maybe that you're doing an interview with her. No, okay, I hadn't seen her in a while either, so I was curious. So what do you want to tell us a little more about the interviews or not?
Two published authors. I'm not sure about the first guest, the one tomorrow, how many he's published, but I know we'll be talking about his new book, which is along the lines of making a masterpiece, right? Doing the inner work to draw out and refine yourself. And his, if I remember right, and if I understood right, his focus of transformational support, it's directed at folks my age, right? 50 and over. That's who he really wants to target and get men excited about life, right? Even after a half century.
Yeah, it's good. Carl Jung's Red Book I started diving into recently, and talk about a guy that can get you excited about living to 100, man. Carl Jung, he was the man. He very interesting.
So I see Fatty did put an interesting YouTube link in the side. So before we get into that, I actually wanted to respond to what you said, Fatty, about being in path of least resistance. Because, I actually saw people as being like that for a while, and it's not necessarily wrong, maybe just inaccurate. So I see why you see you see it. I think the thing is that for a long time, we kind of bounce back and forth between thinking like you can not really control people directly, but you can control the behavior of the masses by either rewarding them or scaring the shit out of them, right? That's democracy and authoritarianism.
For sure.
And it turns out neither are really true. But if you try to scare the shit out of people, at some point that's going to become chaotic and they're going to realize they have nothing to lose other than to fight you or not fight. They actually lose more by not fighting you. In a system where you reward people, as capitalism does today very efficiently, you can at least get people to stabilize around a center, around a fixed point, as it's called in dynamical systems. Yeah. And so it's less chaotic, less things can break out of it. Right. And that's really key to the kind of the world we're living in now. We're in a reward, addictive, gambling economy. Because by the way, one of the things you learn from Dr. Sapolsky's lectures is that you don't get dopamine from pressing the lever. You get dopamine from thinking about pressing the lever and how good it would be to press the lever.
Yep.
Don't both kind of fail though ultimately in like the long term? They don't really
Nothing's
play
perfect.
out
Yeah,
as an incentive.
for sure.
Yeah. So what's the overarching thing that actually can drive people forward consistently?
Sustainability.
And Jack, I think Jack has something. Jack?
No, go ahead.
Well, we're about 2 hours. I'm feeling like maybe it's time to start wrapping up. Not to throw a wrench in the middle of this, but
If it exceeds 2 hours now, do they have like a minimum of when they process things effectively? Yeah, I think they kind of did away with that, right?
Well, StreamYard, when they first started doing their AI option, that'll go through and clip shorts. When they first started that, there was a 2-hour limit. I think an update allows it to go longer, but 2 hours that's a good point.
I've got a new tool for that I'll send to you, Jack. But I would say this: love always wins. We wouldn't be here if hate won. We wouldn't. We just wouldn't, right? Even 51%, even 50.1 fucking percent, right? But love has to be beaten down. It has to be kicked and spit upon before it decides to fight back. because fighting like for love just isn't. It's kind of an oxymoron, right? It's a catch-22, whatever you want to call it. It's a fucking hypocritical statement.
Well said.
I
You
mean,
lose love when you choose to fight.
but love, when we fight for each other, no matter who the fucking other is, that's a lot harder to do than to just demagogue the other and scapegoat the other. And we literally have a point now where we have the upper 1%, we have billionaires telling us to be scared of poor people. And the lowest 1% of our community is being scapegoated against everybody else when it's not even really a fucking problem. When you can convince the dirt poor man to give you the dirt out of his pockets because somebody else might take that dirt out of his pocket, you don't even have to do anything now. He's willingly giving you everything that he has out of fear. You've convinced him to be scared of somebody else.
Yeah, and
I
there's a
think,
lot to get excited about after 50, Jack. I think like the mind calms down.
bro,
You become a more proactive voice in the community of politics. Like I believe it was the Greeks. They said when you're in your 40s, it's kind of your responsibility to take up some civic duties. Art becomes easier because I've become a lot more patient. So I've been enjoying like simple physical art things, the qigong, kung fu, all kinds of wonderful things to enjoy. Music as well.
50 is the new 20,
Uh,
bro.
right, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
And getting behind a good message like Jack's, choosing love, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I mean, this isn't, I guess it's not, I've chosen this message for myself. I mean, to live without fear. It was an idea, and then I chose to try and figure it out and try and do something with it. And the more I've been thinking about it, guys, God, the giver of love, God, the giver of answers, God, the giver of life and the awareness of life and the opportunity of life. Let's be with that. Let's be with that giver of answers, the giver of love, the giver of life, right? Because it's really who we are.
Praise God.
Yeah. There really is no other answer, man. I mean, you don't have to praise God, but you're a fool if you don't. I
Agreed.
mean, it's like,
May the great and almighty Spaghetti Monster reach out and touch us all with his noodly appendage
I want to
man,
address
love.
something
of
really
love.
quick, if I may, Jack. I have a quick question for you. Jim Bob, a moment ago, he said that Frank Monday's a wonderful cheerleader, right? And I got a question about that. Some may see that as like, I think Snafu says I'm polishing balls. And I do like to try to kind of give a positive opinion on things that I feel positively about. My pops always told me if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, this kind of thing. Do you guys feel like that's an entirely negative thing to support people with a good message? Am I doing something wrong by doing that?
No, man. I hear you guys were talking about Jordan Peterson earlier, and I really kind of think he's just a hack, But there's certain things, and do we have to judge people on a certain way that no matter what anything they say it's just everything's wrong? So I think everybody's got great points about things, certain things. And when we focus on the positive things that others are saying and others are trying to attribute to, like ending all wars. People hear somebody say, I want to end all wars. And some people really resonate with that. And they're like, that's a great fucking message. And some people are like, hey, you're fucking crazy, man. You can't fucking end wars. There's this whole system and everything. What are you going to change the fucking system?
Yeah, and even scientifically, the reticular activating system allows you to find what you look for. So if you're looking for the good in
Absolutely.
things, you'll find it. If you're looking
Yeah.
for the bad, you'll find the negative.
And when we're
Where's the
surrounded by
reticular
bad and everybody's
activating
pushing
system
bad,
located?
I mean, it's love takes work, man. That's all I know. Love takes a lot more work than hate. Hate is easy.
So I still feel like I wouldn't know how to enact Jack's specific form of love when on one hand he's kind of pointing to a free speech absolutism via Peterson and his take on Bill C-16, which by the way did not pan out the way he said it would. But on the other hand, he says we need to be against hate, we need to fight hate, we need to be pro-love. And how do we kind of span that gap where on one hand we have free speech and we have a world where people can just say hateful things if you're a free speech absolutist?
No,
which contradicts the notion of love.
That's the straw man, or that's the problem that I actually want to address. So don't include that in my solution. I
think there needs to be a solution in the middle somewhere.
I believe a freedom of speech and accountability of actions and words, right? Because in the end, we are all responsible for every word we utter.
Wouldn't that be what canceling is, though? Like, wouldn't canceling be the accountability for free speech?
Are we looking for, what are we looking for?
Well, I'm just saying that was part of Peterson's lament, is that professors were being canceled over Bill C-16, which would be being held accountable for their speech.
Okay, great. I'm not trying to argue things of the past. I was trying to explain my position, but
well, the thing is when we root our narrative in actionable request, then we make sure that we make that the thing that we can't step over, right? Because that's our fundamental axiom. And so this is why I'm trying to prompt you to organize these things into actionable requests first, and then extrapolate your philosophy.
I know.
Like,
and what would be more helpful
that we try to live by, right? The quotes that we pick up, the things that we really resonate with, those quotes and those things. Some of them are contradictory in their own statements. Some of them are kind of hypocritical, but doesn't mean the statement itself and the notion behind the statement isn't valid.
All I'm saying is that if you give a prescription that is concretely in between and does bridge that gap effectively, then I know what to do with that info.
I'm sorry to interrupt the conversation between you two, but I'd mentioned I was ready to shut down. I was trying to answer a question, and it appears the conversation took off again. So
I wanted to hear your thoughts, Jack, but yeah, you kept getting truncated. And guys, if we're trying to push him into the next hour, you have to allow it. You gotta make it happen. Good God in heaven, man! I watch it play out in front of me, and they just seem oblivious to it.
To answer your question, Jack, from a minute ago, I would say that we move away from things like they, them, and the others, and we move towards things like we and us.
So where are we?
That's
Jack, before we do wrap up, though, Dr. D had a quick question. He wanted to know the carrying capacity of an African gray pigeon. No, I'm just playing. He mentioned Monty Python, so wanted to bring a little levity to it. Yeah, fighting against words when we could be putting our steam behind the actual message. And like when we obfuscate in the subtle nuance, it becomes sometimes too complicated for the simple-minded to understand it. And so we do have to kind of reduce things down to easier to understand levels. I'm not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree or the sharpest tool in the shed, but I do know that 90% of the folks out there are very similar to me in that aspect. And in order for us to be motivated to get behind these big ideas, we do need some, what is it, reductio ad absurdum.
Sure. And I'll make my final statement and leave after I'm done. And it's that I would just push back against that lightly, not absolutely. I don't think you're absolutely wrong. But I think when your concepts that you're pushing your philosophy with are too vague and abstract, then there's nothing tangible for people to work with. And so people can't relate to that. It might set off some reward neurons in their brain because it feels like something they want, but they don't know how to get it. So it's the promise that you're offering them, but no solution. And so I think, like, again, whenever you have any of these ideological gaps, and I think, there is always nuance to free speech. I actually think a nuanced free speech approach makes sense. If you find a prescription that can bridge that gap, that's all I'm asking. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't do what you're doing. So anyways, with that, have a good night.
Thank you for joining. Have a blessed night. What One thing that stood out, though, is if we look for solutions, solutions are available. We can find what we seek. And I know there's ways for us to all understand each other. Let's wrap up. Uncle Fatty, final words from you, brother. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, brother. It's always good. Frank, take care down there, buddy. You know, I think we definitely find what we're looking for. That's for certain. That's probably the truest statement I've heard all year. And I appreciate you, Jack.
Hey, much love to you. Thank you for swinging through. Frank?
Yeah, I wanted to say, Jack, watching these guys trying to kind of ease us into the next hour was a challenging thing. I mean, it doesn't take much with you. You know, you got to watch Jack's brows and see what the caterpillars are doing. And the one thing I've been trying to bring forward with my latest endeavor with the 100-day challenge is the idea of the Rastafarian conversation model and the Rogerian argumentation pattern, that it doesn't always have to be like we're seeking to win something, especially like with you and what you've got going on. You know, we're looking for that win-win balance. And the puff puff pass type of idea, you know, you take a little puff, you don't bogart the joint. You know, and here's the thing that people don't get is if you were in a puff puff kind of, you know, sweat tent circle passing the peace pipe, would you snatch it out of someone else's hand? You know, and that tends to happen a lot. They're like, well, but wait a minute, let me get another hit real quick. And it's like, we got to share that energy. We got to share that love. And I think that these essentially very small actions are fundamentally where we need to begin. We need to try to eliminate the flippant speech patterns where we say things that we don't mean or that are like not truthful and don't reach towards that spiritual growth and development. And I feel like watching you, and again, here I am ball polishing and cheerleading, you know, wind in your sails, you always seem to strive to do that. And I could see how challenging it can be. And your patience is unparalleled, Jack. Yeah. So thank you for that. Much love. And thank you for your time, sir.
Hey, much love. Many blessings to you. Frank Monday. And for those who have not yet, do the subscribe thing. He mentioned he's got a 100-day challenge. He presents a lot of different perspectives than I do. So there's a lot of different flavors, a lot of different sources, opportunities. Everywhere you turn, you can find what you want. If you look, if you know where to look, if you find where to look, you can always find what you want. But the reality is, what I've learned in my experience is that any answer you're seeking is available to you. While you're unique and your problems are yours, no one can walk through the storm and the desert and the tribulations for you. But any problem, any issue you might face, there's probably someone out there who faced it similar to you or different than you, but there's answers for you. That's why God created so many of us. There's so many different unique life experiences that we might encounter. That's why we need each other. We got to listen to each other. We got to connect to each other. We don't got to. Well, if you want to be with peace, if you want to choose love, if you want to choose love today, which you do want to choose love today. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, if you think about it, it's no choice. Today has been given with love, so please receive the life that love brings. When you feel love with you, love reveals heaven. So let heaven and love, heavenly love, let it be true with you, for you, through you. And it's not really for you, it's for the world you've been given. I've got a set to head over and visit our friend Paul Unslave. Proper instruction motivates people. I'll try to drop that link too. But for those who stick around and raid over, share some love, make sure and subscribe, share, like. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, walk with faith, live without fear. Thank you again. God bless us all. Whoops. Forgot what I got to do, man. Peace.